Time to get back to natural.
Peace, Star Family. Happy new moon in Capricorn. It is our last new moon of 2022. It is a super moon, so it is closest to Earth, although it is a new moon and we're not able to see the new moons. The moon is absolutely closest to us at this time. So that is why we've got this super moon energy in Capricorn, 1 degrees Capricorn. This moon is very, very special. Every moon is special, but there are quite a few reasons why this new moon, super moon in Capricorn is extra special. One, it being a super moon, it being the last new moon of the year, and that it is the second new moon in Capricorn of the year. We started off our year on January 2nd, 2022, 1/2/2022 with that new moon in Capricorn. So we started the year with a new moon in Capricorn, and we are concluding the year with a new moon in Capricorn. This is very grounding, bordering energy for us to start the year and end the year with that same energy. And Capricorn being very pragmatic, very hardworking, very much again in alignment with the earth sign that it is, and just getting us really rooted back to ourself and back to source. The powerful energy of this 1 degree in Capricorn is also quite unique, given that our last new moon in Sagittarius was also in 1 degree Sagittarius. And the next 3 new moons that we have starting the new year are all going to be at 1 degrees of their signs. On January 21st, our new moon in Aquarius is going to be at 1 degrees Aquarius. On February 20th, our new moon in Pisces is going to be at 1 degrees Pisces. And March 21st, our new moon in Aries is going to be at 1 degrees Aries. So when we look at this number 1 energy and the fact that the last one, this particular one, and the next 3 new moons, so 5 in a row, new moons back to back, all at 1 degrees in their signs, is powerful new beginning energy for self, for the new earth. So I really, really didn't want you all to miss that alignment with this number 1 energy, this 1 degree energy. And it's very unique and very rare for that to happen, especially for 5 new moons in a row. And especially regarding the fact that we are, again, in this particular 2022 year, a 6 year, the year of creatrix, the year of creation. That number 6, that year of pregnancy, that number of pregnancy is starting that energy. We started off this 6th year in this new moon energy in Capricorn and now concluding. The sea goat is the symbol for Capricorn. And this brings in a perfect alignment that we're experiencing right now with new moon in an earth sign, because we have the sea goat and we're aligning with the sea in terms of the moon and water element. And then we've got the energy of the goat climbing mountains and the energy aligning with the earth. So it's a beautiful balance that is definitely heralding in the balance in regards to climbing mountains and thinking about the obstacles in regards to that, and the fact that it is hard and it is arduous. But if we continue to not give up and climb up that mountain, we are going to reach the peak. And then also in the balance of floating on the seas and making sure that when things do feel overwhelming and we feel like we're drowning in some ways, that we just have to lean back and float. And remember that that does happen naturally if we just surrender and if we just stay calm and if we just trust in the universe and how things are supposed to flow. This date, as we are celebrating and aligning with this new moon, this super moon, is on the 23rd. The peak was at 5:16 a.m. this morning. And the weather in New York is very interesting, because we started off this day at like 53 degrees. It was actually 11 degrees Celsius, and I'm definitely in Celsius mode. Being from Canada, it is also more natural for me to think about 0 Celsius being freezing point, and we go from there, negatives, positives, etc. So it was 11 degrees Celsius, early AM, and by tonight, it is actually going to be dropping to minus 11 degrees Celsius. So I again, in alignment with nature and thinking about Celsius versus Fahrenheit, that is where it aligns with me that much more, because of the fact that I was able to see that master number 11 in the positives, and within the same 24 hours going all the way to the negative in that master number 11. And I thought that that was something poignant to notice and to be able to share and acknowledge on this day, especially given it being a new moon at 1 degree. This is again our last new moon of 2022, and it is a holiday season new moon. We've got Christmas and Kwanzaa and Hanukkah all in alignment during this time, and it really is a moment to think about what it is that you're gifting yourself, and being your own Santa Claus, making your wishes come true. We had the Ursid meteor showers that peaked early AM, and cloudy skies. We had a lot of rain here in New York, so I didn't, end up going up and trying to take a look. But again, light pollution and all of that, even though it's a new moon and you do have a higher opportunity to see meteor showers when there's the dark skies with the new moon, with the dark moon, but given the clouds, it would have been hard to see. But in terms of the alignment, it really is that wish upon a star energy. And the Capricorn alignment really does help us accelerate our plans. When we think about the 3 words that I aligned with for this particular moon, was strategize, skills, and success. And tapping into that energy, what came through was the words, our last new moon of 2022 is a supermoon in Capricorn, assisting us to strategize the skills that would best stimulate our success. Streamline, shed, and simplify, so you know exactly how you need to surrender to source. So this is where, again, we're thinking about the alignment with the earth element and the water element with this new moon in Capricorn, because of that energy of aligning with your skills, which is very much about the material. It's about the things. It's about grounding. It's about, your action, but then also thinking about surrendering to source. And that's where that water element and that flow and just kind of lean back and float energy comes in, and why that balance is so important during this time and allows us to have that fortitude to not give up, because we're allowing ourselves to kind of work, but then also allowing ourselves to take that moment of rest and to be able to just kind of tap into taking a moment, especially given the fact that we are in the winter season. And it is a dormant energy in the winter time. Nothing is planted, nothing is growing in the winter time. And we do have to kind of align with nature in that way. And despite it being a new moon where we are usually planting spiritual seeds in many ways, it is a time to not kind of stick with that classic energy of a new moon planting, and just to be easy with yourself. And again, just be in the mode of strategizing, of planning, of thinking about your skill sets and what it is that you want to focus on to be able to reach the success that you are hoping for. Sometimes we are very much dabbling in many different things, and as much as it is good for us to exercise and practice all the things that we're good at, we have to align with thinking about our talents, thinking about our hobbies, thinking about skills, skill sets, and all of those things, and really putting things in their place in alignment with what it is that we want to create abundance out of, and making sure that we're not putting too much diverting energy to too many things, so we're not really able to tap in very, very specifically to what it is that is supposed to bring us that level of success and that level of abundance. We have Chiron that went direct 45 minutes before the peak of this new moon, and it's been in retrograde since July 19th. Chiron is our wounded healer, so there are deep wounds that are exposed during this time, but with it direct now, there is more of a chance to restore and revive our spirits. And as long as we choose to feel it to heal it and face it to replace it, the inner work and doing that inner child work and the shadow work and choosing to not be afraid of the dark is really, really powerful. And with this winter solstice that we had 2 days ago, now tapping in with this new moon, it really was an energy of not being afraid of the dark. It was tapping into thinking about, as much as we think about this energy of the longest night, and in some ways feeling like that's negative, we look at the stars at night, right? There's a lot of things that do actually come to the light because of the dark. And what was channeled for the energy for this winter solstice was rest, release, and reset. Be one with nature and align with the winter solstice by taking time to rest and release so you can prepare to reset in the new year. We don't plant in the winter, so take this season to be still so you're sure of which seeds you wish to sow come spring. The longest night provides light codes to activate dormant DNA, so embrace your shine and don't be afraid of the dark, because we only see the stars at night. This alignment comes in right on point with the downloads that have come through for this new moon, because it really is about taking that time, going inward, self-love, self-care being so essential right now, isolating yourself if needed, especially if you're easily triggered at this time, given the emotions of the moon. New moon is about inner work. It is about quiet time. And especially, again, thinking about the alignment with the winter solstice and how that coincides. Winter solstice is a time of hibernation. It is a time of going inward. It's preparing for spring, given the fact that we are not planting and growing things in the wintertime. We prepare our seeds. We start strategizing the skills again and thinking about how we want to succeed when it comes time for the spring, for that equinox energy, for that energy of, okay, now things now start to sprout from the warming earth, right? Right now, the soil is frozen. And especially thinking about a day like today, where the start of the day was 11 degrees Celsius, which is kind of like spring type weather. And then by the night is going to be 11 degrees below freezing. That is a major, range of temperature within a 24-hour period that just gives us that energy of thinking about how quickly things can change and why it's important sometimes to just take a moment and see how things change before we start to plant a seed. Because by the day it looks like it's okay to plant this seed, by that night our seed is frozen, right? So it is that time to really just be still right now, being gentle with yourself, and again, not kind of sticking too much to the rules of new moon planting at this time. Mercury retrograde begins on the 28th, so we're in Mercury retrograde right now. It's going to be in retrograde until January 18th. So again, and also in Capricorn. So we've got this alignment, this conjunction with the moon and with Mercury in retrograde in Capricorn. So it is very much a time to reflect and recharge and reevaluate as usual, but it is that much more important, especially in regards to a communication, given this Mercury retrograde, because our emotions will be a lot more challenging to express. So it's important to journal right now, to write things out for yourself, and then see how things potentially still resonate after Mercury goes direct. Give it a couple of weeks. Like I always say, think about the retrograde, wait 2 weeks. So I would say early February, mid-February, to be safe, is the time to really go through these journals, go through what it is that you're expressing to yourself and writing out and communicating to yourself during this time, and see if that's still how you feel, especially in relation to expressing it outward to other people. We're preparing for the new Gregorian year, January 1st, 2023. The year of the number 7. We're thinking about bridging the as above, so below energy. It's about self-mastery. And we're also thinking on this day, the 23rd, we are 9 days till the new year. That number 9 is the number of endings. That number 9 is ruled by Pluto. That number 9 is ruled by Oya, the Orisha. That is about the winds of change. And again, ironically, many places around the Northeast right now are dealing with very, very high winds, bringing in that energy of change 9 days before January 1st with this new Gregorian year coming in. It's a time when we think about the new year and we think about New Year's resolutions. I have a very, very different perspective on New Year's resolutions, and it's because of the fact that nothing new happens in the wintertime. So given the fact that I also say Gregorian year, Gregorian calendar, I am very specific about that because there are many different New Years that we can think about, right? We think about spring and the astrological New Year, and we think about the sidereal calendar, and we think about the Coptic New Year, and we think about the Mayan calendar, and there's so many different New Years and new starts, and that align with different traditions, that align with the seasons, and all of these things. And the Gregorian calendar is something that was just decided, much like many things were just decided. So I have a harder time aligning with the January 1st newness of things, because it doesn't align with nature in my spirit. So I share that just so that it takes some of the pressure away in terms of the new year, right? That you have to do something new and you got to create these resolutions and all of these things. And I believe that it's more important to celebrate the resolutions that you've already succeeded in all year long, because we have done a lot of releasing. We've done a lot of shedding. We are so close to manifesting and form and experience everything that we have been working on, especially in a year, 2022, a year of creation, a year of, so much expansion. And we think about the conjunctions that have happened. We think about what Jupiter has been doing for us this year and being that planet of expansion and abundance. It's really, really powerful for us to herald that energy and not think about, oh, what do I have to do now? We have to celebrate what we've already done and understand that that is what's going to help us maintain that momentum and know that nothing less can be possible because of what already is in motion, what already is ours. And as a result, it doesn't allow us to feel the need to name or claim anything specific going forward, because we're just letting things unfold that has already been, and that's already in progress, that we've already done. Nature is dormant right now anyway, so understanding that the coming growth is inevitable, and it prevents us from creating these resolutions and then being too hard on ourselves when we're going against nature, expecting something new to grow during a time when nature is actually taking a little bit of a rest. So keep all of those things in mind as you go through this energy, as you're tapping in, and again, especially preparing ourselves for this new Gregorian year and not putting too much into this idea of, oh, now things are going to happen. Now it's already done. It's already done. The work has already been done. The shedding has already been done. You've already done the work. You continue to do the work. That's again, that alignment with the sea goat of continuing to climb the mountain. And then knowing when things are a little bit hard and things feel a little bit stressful, that's when you kind of just lean back and take a float on the seas and just trust and surrender to source. So I did want to kind of just give those downloads and details as quickly in some ways as possible, because I do want to kind of couple this up with an oracle observation and just pull some cards in the moment and see what aligns. I will probably do this more so that there's not two different videos for everybody to listen to, and especially since I am going to be doing more of these audios versus me on camera. That's for multiple reasons, and I'm still going to do some things on camera as well as some of the oracle observations in alignment so that you can just see the cards and all of that much closer like I originally done. But I really do just have to kind of flow with spirit and also be able to find the balance between my time, my energy, and what I need, but at the same time doing the sacred service and making sure that I'm sharing as much as I can for what you all need. So I give thanks for all of those that listen, that tap in, and that tune in. And this is the in-between. This is where the balance is so important for all of us, and, connecting with the energies and with self and with source. So tapping in now for this oracle observation and giving thanks to the Creator, giving thanks to the breath of life, giving thanks to Earth Mother, and giving thanks to our angels and archangels, our ancestors, to the ascended masters, to the forces of nature, the Orisha, the Neteru, to the prophets and sages and starseeds and sibyls and saints, guides and guardians, gods and goddesses, ancient kings and queens and divine deities of all traditions in light and love that serve humanity for the highest good of all. Thank you for any messages that you can give us, the collective, the soul tribe, the star family, in alignment with this new moon, in alignment with this winter solstice, in alignment with Chiron direct, with Mars retrograde, with this coming Mercury retrograde, whatever it is that you want us to know, especially to tap into this Capricorn energy in regards to what it is that we should do to ground, to align, what to do, what to feel. A lot of doing and feeling balance right now with this Capricorn energy. And again, with Mercury being in Capricorn for this coming retrograde. Give thanks, Spirit. What would you have us know at this time? We've got a Queen of Wands upright thus far. This is tapping in to our power, tapping into our will, tapping into that witch energy, that what I will be. My wish is my command. This is tapping into the ego sense in regards to the sunflower that you see the Queen of Wands holding. I always refer to the Queen of Wands as the witch card because she is holding her wand. She is on the throne. She's got her black cat and she is in an alignment with the sunflower. The sunflowers grow in the direction of the sun, always facing the sun, and gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's important to align with our power as the Queen of Wands energy, but also keeping that balance of humility to make sure that in our alignment with being children of the sun and growing with the sun, we have to remember that the sunflower grows with the sun and its head literally gets so big that it ends up caving in onto itself and starts to dip. And that's where you realize that sometimes our head can get a little bit too big for our neck. So it is always a warning in many ways of know your power, speak your power, be powerful and choose that power, but making sure that we're not abusing any authority, abusing any power, and not letting our head literally get too big when we are in that confidence mode, right? There's that thin line between confidence and cockiness, right? Everybody's got a little bit of a narcissistic spectrum. Every single one of us do. It is what it is. And that's why we have to monitor things and make sure that we are staying in alignment with that nature of humility. And when we think about humble, humility, there's different definitions that we could look through for anything. And the notion of humble, in some ways, sometimes you can see it's a meaning of being lowly and being submissive and being under something. And I believe that God is within us. So there is nothing and no one that we can be under if God's self is saying that we are in alignment with the creator. So it's really just our choice of how we choose to define something, to be honest. But it's important to think about the notion of humble, of humility, of just not choosing to put someone else below us, right? The same way that we are choosing to say that we are in alignment with God, that means that everybody else is as well. And that's what the sunflower message reminds us of, to just kind of keep that message in mind and in heart, that nobody is below us and nobody is above us. We've got the Five of Wands in the upright position. And I always look at the Five of Wands and think about it in relation to other cards that are around it. And it is in the center, Queen of Wands to the left and the Death card in reverse to the right. And I'm looking at this Five of Wands. In many ways, it can be seen as conflict and challenges. And that is real, because we are going through a very, very significant change, especially, again, thinking about this 1 degree energy for 5 new moons in a row. New beginnings, new change, new earth is going to be massive, massive, massive challenge. There can't not be, right? We're bringing in a new earth, which means old paradigms are dying out, which is what is bringing in our Death card energy in reverse here. And that is about rebirth. That is about new earth. So it's confirming this new earth energy that is coming through for us, and the fact that we are literally tapping into our abracadabra energy with the Queen of Wands and making it so, what our will be, what we will be, but understanding that that's not going to come without challenge. It's not going to come without trials. And looking at the Five of Wands in this case as well, I look at it as the training. We are in training right now to bring about this new earth. We are in training right now to be able to discern and decipher the thoughts, the feelings, the actions, all of the things that we feel. Sometimes we hear these voices and we're not really sure where the voice is coming from. Is it higher self? Is it our ori? Is it our ego? Is it an illusion? Is it a fear? It's all of these things. And we have to be able to externalize and internalize when it comes to the voices that we hear. We have to be able to decipher and distinguish and discern internally as much as we do externally, because we can sometimes convince ourselves that this is a direction we're supposed to take just because we hear something intuitively. We feel like maybe potentially it is coming from, our higher selves, but that's not always the case. And that's sometimes the training and the test that is needed for us to look at it, listen to it, take it inward, stir it in the pot with a lot of the other things that we hear on a daily basis and see what it is that we're actually, the direction that we actually want to take. The number 5 is the number of change. So it is, again, bringing in this energy of the death card, of renewal, of rebirth, of absolutely big changes coming for us. And as I'm shuffling here, the World card, upright, totally confirming the new earth. Totally confirming this 9 energy, as we were talking about, with it being 9 days to the new Gregorian calendar, and 9 being endings. We are ending something. The death card is ending something. The 5 of Wands is ending something, whether it's fighting through for yourself or somebody else or the system or whatever it is. We literally do have to decide to be in this front lines energy, to fight, to be soldiers of love, and to decide, as the Queen of Wand energy, I am deciding what I want my new world, my new earth to look like, to be like, what I want to die, what I want to shed. Again, right? The death card is bringing in all of the confirmations of what it is that we needed to release, what it is that we need to shed, what it is that we need to let go, so that we can make space for what it is that's supposed to come in. This is why it's so important as well. So instead of thinking about New Year's resolutions of what you want to bring in, you can't bring in anything until you make space for it and let the things that are supposed to come in happen naturally, because it is going to be the right reflection based on what it is that you let go, what it is that you released, what it is that you let go of. That's where that 5 of Wands comes in, because it's not easy to let something go. It's not easy to decide, I'm not doing it the same way anymore. But it is only after doing that work, and why it's more important to focus on the release to bring in the increase. The increase happens automatically. And it is, again, a mirror to what it is that was released. It matches the energy of, oh, you've let this thing go. I'm going to, ironically, the irony with the mirror is that it is an opposite. It's literally the positive comes in after the negative is released. But that has like a magical mirroring, in the sense of, if it's a relationship that wasn't serving you, that you were able to release, you're making space for that good relationship to come through. If what you've released was a scarcity mindset, then you're bringing in that energy of abundance. So that's where there's that irony of it being a reflection, a mirroring, but yet an opposite that has now the energy and the space to be able to come through for you. Let's see what else comes through. Give thanks, Spirit. New world, new earth. Absolutely. Full circle, full cycle energy coming through for us with this World card, with the death, with the 5 of Wands, and with our Queen of Wands. And it really is like you deciding what it is you want that to look like. We've got a few more cards here, so I'm going to just let these be the finals and wrap it up. We've got the 7 of Swords in reverse, and that is a beautiful testament, especially it now ironically falling under the 5 of Wands, because that is letting us know that we are fighting our way out of deception. That is what the new earth is about. It's literally, again, the things that we're releasing from the old world and whatever that doesn't serve us individually. And this is why it's also so important to just focus on our world. The world energy, it's literally thinking about our world. When we do what is needed to clean things up, to cleanse things up, to detoxify, purify, fortify our world, our personal, internally, external world, everything else, again, it ripples out. We can't be so focused on what's happening externally, but then we're not doing the work that we need to do for ourselves, because then we're not actually making space, not just for the world, but then obviously not for ourselves. When we take that time inward, when we do what is needed, that is what is actually going to inspire self and inspire the rest of the world. And it happens energetically. That is collective consciousness. That is the age of Aquarius. That is exactly what we're experiencing right now, and why it's important for us to be in this training, to be able to look at what is deceptive, what does not feel right in the external world, not get too caught up in it, and instead start to do the cleanups that we need to do internally, so that beyond anything else, we're also not as directly affected. And the more of us do that individually, the more we literally eradicate it from the external world. And that is what creates the new earth. That is what creates that collective consciousness. Ace of Wands upright. There it is. New beginning, that number 1, that 1 degree energy that is coming through for us in terms of our creativity, in terms of our passions, in terms of what it is that we are meant to do, living our purpose, living our dreams, manifesting those things into form and experience. and it really being a blessing, and that's kind of given to us in many ways as a reward because of that internal work that's being done, because of the space that's being made. We've got finally here our Knight of Pentacles and King of Pentacles in reverse. And the Knight of Pentacles in reverse is tapping into the same energy of thinking about what it is that is kind of feeling stagnant right now, but letting us know that it's not a stagnation. It's really just a pause, because it is about that surveying the land. It is about strategizing and being really skillful in thinking about where it is that we need to plant our seeds, and that now is not the time to plant the seeds. Perfect confirmation. It's not about not doing anything and feeling like, oh, I should be doing more or whatever it is. It literally is that it is not the time, and it's okay for it not to be the time. And that the abundance is still inevitable, especially because you're not planting seeds in a time where they will freeze. Don't plant seeds during a time that they will freeze. You want these seeds to grow. You want them to flourish. You want them to come to fruition. You want them to get into the King of Pentacles status. And with the King of Pentacles in reverse as well is also letting us know about timing being divine, and that you don't want to risk your seeds not growing and being in a reversal state because you're choosing to just do what is status quo in many ways, and especially kind of going along with the whole New Year's resolution, putting yourself under this pressure of feeling like something needs to be done now on January 1st because it, the Gregorian calendar says that that's what you're supposed to do, Flow with nature. Nature is the original science, I always say. So go along with that and let things happen naturally. Let things flow naturally. Take your time to know what that answer is, because sometimes we're just going along with a calendar. We're going along with, even what I say. I always say, take what resonates, leave the rest. I say that if it doesn't, serve what it is that you're doing or what your intuition tells you, then you have to follow what your intuition tells you. That's really the whole point of it. But nature is the teacher. Nature is the example. So during this time, take time. During this time, take time. So I will leave you with that. And I wish you all a happy, happy new moon in Capricorn. Beautiful closing off energy, the way that we started off this year, 2022. And we welcome 2023 with an energy of self-mastery. And that's the internal work. And that's why it is important to take that time inward and focus on you. So many blessings to you all. And until the next time, lest we forget.
Time to get back to natural.
Peace.